Thank you very much for that warm welcome, Pete. I do want to start by maybe apologizing because I think I put it out to the universe how nervous I was about standing in front of people and presenting, much more comfortable behind the screen. So I do apologize for any inconvenience. I am going to jump into my slides. Yep, about me. I want to start by asking you a question, though, before I start talking about myself, because that's the part I like the least. If let's say you're in bed, probably 9 to 10 o'clock, you suddenly remembered something that you had been meaning to look into. Maybe it's a symptom you're experiencing currently. And I want to know what would be the first thing that you do at that time when you're in bed about to go to sleep, but you can't sleep till you get this answer. I'm not sure if I can see the answers straight away, but I would say more than likely, most of us will be Googling it. I know I will. I'll be Googling and falling into a rabbit hole, just finding out a bit more information, and then I'll try and force myself to get to sleep. But that is just the nature of things. If you're not Googling, you're probably going on YouTube to find that information, or maybe even TikTok, because that's so informative. They all work as search engines as well. So just imagine if you don't already have a website presence, if you're not being active on social media, then the chances of you showing up to a person who needs you most is very, very low. So I just wanted to leave you with that thought. I am going to introduce myself. My name is Desiree. I own Naked Digital, which is a web design agency based here in Newcastle. In today's session, I really do want to make you feel a bit more comfortable and have a bit more understanding about the importance of having that digital footprint, and to walk away with really actionable tips that could be quick fixes or quick wins, and to be more comfortable with the idea of having to do the website and marketing, especially social media. So next screen, please. There needs to be a mindset shift, though, that your website and your marketing are not about you. And I know it's super tempting to be putting it out there about your accreditations, your qualifications, how great you are at what you do. And there's room for that, but it's not 100% of what you should be putting out there. So if all of your marketing has been about that, if all of your social media posts talks about how great you are and that they need to come and see you straight away, then it's kind of missing the point. You actually need to make your potential client or your potential patient the hero of the story. They need to be felt, seen, and heard, and go, that's exactly that they're describing me. They're in my mind. And it's great that I know of this person now that I can come and see them. So making them the hero of the story, it does also stem from really understanding who your ideal audience or your target audience is. I should have done polls. I've just watched the other two presenters and they've done that so well. I would really like to know if anyone knows about brand personas. It's a bit of a cliche marketing activity, but really, really so essential if you think that everyone is your customer when really they're not. You don't want to attract 1 million people or even 100,000. You want 50 to 100 who are ready to come and work with you and spend money with you and spend time with you. So narrowing that down will really, really be helpful when it comes to doing any kind of marketing. I do have a little exercise at the end to help you to work through that exercise. I'm about to click to the next slide. Next slide, please. I hear all the time, I'm already so busy. Why do I need to do this? Why do I need to spend money? Why do I need to spend time? And that's okay. That's fair. It's really fair to feel like that, especially when it's yet another thing that is added to a to-do list. And a lot of us are sole traders, are sole operators, and we're trying to do all the things all the time. But know that if you invest in your website and you invest in your marketing and the right types of marketing, which hopefully I'll uncover a little bit more today. It is something that works 24/7, even while you're sleeping. This is your digital practice. It is working, if it's done well, it is working hard for you to bring in the right type of people. Know that also potential clients, more than likely, before they even walk through your doors or before they even pick up the phone or send you a message, they are doing their research online first. Even if they have been personally recommended from a trusted source, they're still going to be doing their online research to get that initial perception about you, your reputation, as well as comparing you to other people. So coming back to that first question that I asked you, that someone's Googling all their symptoms or their issues or even a question that they might have, if you are the solution and you're not showing that, you're not being shown as that result, your competitor is most likely the one that's getting that, whether that traffic, website traffic, or even that opportunity, that hot lead that would have come in through their website. By the time you decide, okay, well, actually, I'm looking over the next few weeks and there's not much work coming in, you might think, well, I'm gonna spend on ads. I'm gonna get some ads running and getting some work, getting some leads. That might be already too late. You need to be building that momentum from the beginning, and you need to be consistent. And so when you do actually need that work, you have avenues to reach out to that have been nurtured throughout the process. And you can actually say, hey, I've got bookings over the next week or the next 2 weeks. And you see there's a higher chance of return on investment because you've been keeping them warm. You've been in connection with them, as opposed to like a cold call. Nobody likes a cold call or a cold email. How much spam do we get? That's the first time we've heard from them and they want something from you already. So think about that don't leave it to the last minute when you're actually desperate or bordering desperate. You need to be investing in that time to warm them up to when you actually need something from them. Having a website as well allows you to really expand on your digital footprint, and things like listing on directories like the Provider Connect Australia and being referred to by GPs. Much more trustworthy when they can say, go to their website, lots of information and a booking system, and you can get in touch with them that way. Once you have built this network, this footprint, then it really just helps you to, one, get that better return on investment, help people find you when they need you, and also positions you as the expert in your field, especially if you specialize in something, if you're a specialist or in a niche. Next slide, please. Thank you. So I mentioned your website, back one. Your website is your digital practice, working hard for you 24/7. People are on there, they're doing their research, they're going through, they might even be reading your blog post because it talks about a specific issue that they are experiencing. That is really the place that they are hanging out in. So lots of ways to assess whether your website is doing its job, but I'll ask you these 3 questions for you to consider. The first one being, is your website making it easy for clients to book an appointment for you? And if you have other practitioners, do they have their booking calendars linked? Lots of us are using a booking system internally, so like Galaxy and Clinical. They have online versions as well. So all you have to do is just say book now, and it links to the right calendars, the right booking links. If you have books that open and close, have you displayed that, whether your books are open or not? The next question to ask yourself is your website answering the initial questions clearly and effectively? This is a great way of actually weeding out time wasters. So your reception's not taking calls that will ask things like your opening hours. If you're mobile, whether you're what locations you service, and again, whether your books are open or not. So, you can display them quite clearly on your website that they don't even need to call you because they go, well, I'm not going to waste my time calling because they're not servicing my area, for example. And the third question to consider is whether it's building trust and credibility within a few seconds of landing on the website. Now, this could be things like having the badges or the logos of the accreditations and affiliations on your website, or even things like the ally flag to be displayed quite prominently, because the people that you're trying to attract, when they see these things, is very visual, and they will connect with them. They go, well, okay, this ticks that box. I'm going to stick around a little bit longer, which is one of the goals of having the website. You want them to stay on your website as long as possible. Next slide, please. I wanted to show you this slide because it's probably about 70 to 80% of what we need to consider when actually building a website. And you can see that there's quite a few things. And unfortunately, like, I've seen lots of beautiful websites out there, lots of images and videos and animation and very interactive, lots of words on there, but unfortunately they're just not working for the business. So it's very pretty, but it's not bringing in the right type of traffic, and it's not converting to take the next step, whether that's booking with you, putting in a contact form, or buying something off your website. I find that three things from here is what people tend to focus, especially those who DIY and have built your own website. The branding side of things, so the logo, the colors, the fonts, that side of things. They kind of obsess and go, these all need to be on the website. Images and videos, if they have videos, and the aesthetics, so the overall look and feel of how the website looks, which is, you can see it's only 3 out of the many on there. And that's fair enough, because you don't know what you don't know, right? So you just do, and you start with what you have. But just know that there's just so many things that go into it. And I'll just highlight one thing, like in here, the opt-in strategy in the top left. That means you can use your website to actually grow your email marketing list, your newsletter list or subscriber list, which is an absolute goldmine. And we'll talk about that as an organic marketing activity shortly. What can you offer in return that doesn't cost you anything, so that they can give you their email address and permission to market to them? And by using your website as that tool, then you have your, whether it's 10 subscribers or 500 or 1,000, these are people who are giving you permission to send them an email, and also they know of your brand. So they're not cold leads. They actually have an awareness of your brand or yourself. So that's a great way to, how can you weave that into your website and your pages and your blogs as well? It's something to consider when you are building or rebuilding your website. Next slide, please. Now I'm going to go through a list of essentials. I've broken them down into information and technical. I don't have a lot of time to go through each and every one of these points, so you can refer to the slides when you have access to them. And I will highlight a few things though. The first thing here is to have a simple navigation system, not just at the top where you have your menu and the bottom where the footer is, but also inner pages as they are traveling through the website. What's the most common step they would take next, or most likely to take next, and interlink that, or have a call to action button to go to that page. And I'll give you an example on my website. So when they land on the home page, the most common step they take next is the services page. From the services page, they look at all my packages and the services that I offer. And from there, they tend to go into the portfolio to see proof of that work, proof of what I'm selling. From the portfolio, they either go to the About page to see who the team is, or they go to the contact page because they're happy to get in touch with us. So on the portfolio page, I actually have buttons that say, meet the team, find out more about us, and also get in touch with us or book your discovery call. They don't have to go back to the top of the menu or the bottom of the page to find your next destination. We're making it really clear for them and very easy for them to click through that process. And again, that comes down to understanding your target audience, your ideal audience, and knowing how they behave and what kind of information they're most likely after. The next thing I wanted to highlight is professional photography. this is a balance of, using stock photography or free images that you can get online, and actually putting yourself a bit more out there, your own photos, your team's photos, other practitioners, and also a lot of people forget this, but photos of your practice and the rooms that you're in, because when someone's doing their research, they're actually going to be having this visual idea and what they're walking into. When they arrive at the building, maybe they can easily spot or recognize the reception from the photo that they have seen. It just really helps to give that warm and inviting feeling, and to take the guesswork about who they're going to be seeing. And also, people buy from people. So the more warm and friendly you are and you have photos up there, it's just much more inviting. A lot of it is psychological. And I want to really talk about two things. So forms, if you can, so you've got a contact form on your website, and if you can put your, you've got your initial intake form, assessment forms, referral forms, have that available on your website as well. If you can do them as electronic, even better. Just make sure you've got really good security systems in place in your website, especially for WordPress, because they tend to get hacked quite often. So having electronic forms, as well as PDF versions to download and print from home for those not comfortable with submitting electronic forms, or if they're having trouble with it for some reason. And one more thing to highlight would be the blogs to showcase your expertise. You've got your peer-reviewed articles and industry updates, and even to go more in-depth into your specialties. The blog is a great way to do that on your website. Next slide, please. The technical aspect would be things like your site speed. Your website probably loads really fast for you because you're there all the time. As we all do, we just check it all the time. But if Google flags it as slow, for someone who's never been to your website and this is the first time they're landing on your website, it might take a bit longer for it to load, and that's what Google is assessing. So you can actually check, just Google page speed insights, or you can just search for website speed test. It will most likely be the first one to come up. It will do a test, and it will actually give you some feedback as to what the issues are, how to fix it. Some of them you can fix. The common culprits will be large images, or your hosting provider is not very great, not very good, not enough. So imagine if you're building a house that's on a piece of land that is too small, it doesn't work. So you need to have enough resources with your hosting to house your own website. Things like that. It will give you a bit of information on how to rectify things. The next point there is good hosting provider. So this is not something that you should go cheap on, because the cheaper it is, it tends to go up and down quite often, which is sending bad signals to Google, which deprioritizes your website in the search results. Something I want to recommend to you, if you don't already have on your website, is Google Analytics, which means that you have the ability to track people, how they landed on your website, how they're browsing through your website, which pages are more popular and the ones that are losing people, and also literally what words they're typing in to find your website. So if you're saying things like, oh, well, yeah, no, our website gets seen by a lot of people, or my website is not working, I paid so much money, and no one's seeing it, you're only guessing until you actually have something like Google Analytics that's tracking, and then you look back on that data and you can interpret that and make much more informed decisions. And one last thing here is your Google business profile. If you haven't already, also please go and register for this. It does enable you to have Google reviews, but you can turn them off. And if you have a private listing in terms of not wanting to display your address online, you can also hide that. So it's just something that will mark, and it will take another box and bump up your organic rankings because you're visible on Google's maps. Okay, one more. Test contact forms regularly, because this is something that is so important that and is often missed, especially for WordPress websites. Again, quite notorious for breaking this functionality. Test your contact form, submit it, make sure it's able to submit, and you're actually receiving that in the right inbox, whether you've set it to your reception or yourself. Make sure you're actually getting that email, because these are hot leads that are potentially being lost in space, and you don't want that. Next slide, please. I was gonna wink, but I don't do that very well. All right, I'm going to give you some examples of all of this, or what I'm recommending put into practice. Disclaimer, we have built all of these websites, but I'm not tooting my own horn. It's really just to show you a much more visual example of what I've been saying. So this is nature-based therapies. They have, when you first land on your website, this is what you can see. I haven't clicked or scrolled anywhere. Right at the top, you've got 100% clarity about who they are and who they're trying to attract. There's no confusion there. Right at the top, there's easy access to social media and their contact details, and also very strong calls to action in a choose your pathway. So there's upcoming trainings as a button, or you can book a consultation and supervision with them. Definitely very clear when you land on there. Next slide, please. This is Fit with Sally, who is a personal trainer. She has her expertise shown with badges and awards. She has been nominated as a finalist for Personal Trainer of the Year and endorsed by Fitness Australia. Her niche is also showing there with the tone of voice and the brand personality. She's very body positive, so there's icons that say that. And the small words in red there says, "I think burpees suck," which I think a lot of us can agree, but she's really trying to attract and relate to people, women, and in a much more body positive way. So that all comes through on her website. Next slide, please. We've got Support Chain, which has used very easy to understand language, layman's terms. Their niche badges shown clearly as well with I love NDIS, and they've got clear contact details in the footer. Next slide, please. We've got Thrive Wellness Hub in this screen. Again, without scrolling or clicking anything, there's a clear photo of their reception and their practice. So visually and psychologically, you already know that's an established business. You know what to expect when you get there, where to walk into, and it's just a bit more welcoming. As opposed to using a stock photo that doesn't relate to your business. Next slide, please. We have Educational Case Management here, or ECM, on Hudson. They have accreditations and affiliations shown in the footer, lots of badges. So imagine if you're a parent looking for someone who is, in a particular affiliation or group, you see the logo, you recognize it, you're probably going to go, yep, that ticks the box. I'm going to stick around and find out a lot more. They also have clear contact details in the footer. And on the right there, you've got offers both electronic forms as well as downloadable PDFs to print from home. They also have quite a secure form system in the back end to make sure that the forms are being looked after and protected. Next slide, please. And finally, another example of Support Chain. They've got a team there, but also broken down into 4 different departments. Each time you click the green button, the relevant team members will show with a nice warm photo and a bit about them, their name and a bit about them. With such a personable industry, very one-to-one in support and caring for people, this is such a nice thing to see and browse through and connect with them before they even make that next step with you. Next slide, please. Okay, copywriting. In this context, it's not the legal side of things. This means the words that go onto your marketing activities, your words that go onto your website. And there is a bit of a science to it. It's a bit of a skill where you can write the words that both bring out your tone of voice, your brand personality, and it sounds like you. And also having some of the keywords and the phrases that people are literally typing into Google's search bar to find something related to that. And so the skill is that you're writing that without looking like an eBay ad. We're not stuffing keywords in there. And you know what I mean when I say eBay ad. It's just just having all different variations of the same word just so that it gets picked up in the search engine. Next slide, please. This is a list of the essentials that I'm going to be recommending. It is very lean because we try not to complicate this process. It is already quite difficult for some people to actually write words, especially when it's about themselves. So following this and some of the things that I've recommended today, hopefully does make it easier. And based on what Cameron has recommended as well, one of the things we love using AI for is actually fleshing out our ideas in AI and writing the words for us. And you can also use it to find some keywords for you that's relevant. So on each page that you want to rank well on your website, we want a minimum of 300 words per page. And it sounds like a lot when it's in one paragraph, but you're breaking that into different sections with a heading, a bit of a description, and a call to action button after that. So a few of those in different sections will set up a good layout for the website. Within those words, so you can imagine if it's less than 300 words, out of the billions of websites out there, how is Google going to find that one page to show it to the right person? So you have to give it a bit more words, more content in order to find that. Within those words, to have sufficient keywords and phrases throughout the copy and a proper heading structure like H1, H2, H3. Think of it like a table of contents of a book where you've got the different headings. But also it is something that if you do hire someone to write your content for you, and there is a difference between someone who loves writing and can really spin words well versus someone who writes for websites and search engines and they have mastered that SEO component, search engine optimization component in it. So make sure if you are paying for someone, there is SEO involved. Otherwise, you're just writing pretty words that are most likely for a journal that no one can find online. The tone of voice and personality, lots of writers will nail this because that's bringing out your brand's voice, whether that's warm and friendly or professional and informative, whatever, or, some people might be quirky as well. So whatever that your brand or your personality brings to the table, your words will bring that up for you. Remembering, though, it's not about how great you are, because there is a small element of that, but it's about how you can help them. You call out their symptoms, you call out their issues, and you say, this is how you feel. And you're more likely going to be experiencing these three things. And, there could be two solutions, and I actually offer both of them. So you call them out, you label them, and you say, here's what you're experiencing. This is probably the symptom, this is probably the cause, and here's the solution, and I can help you with that solution. Now, keeping the rest of the pages succinct, you can use the blog for longer content and drilling into specific topics where you can then show your real expertise by really breaking down a lot more information. So keeping your website very lean, very easy to browse through. People who then want to know a lot more, they will go to the blog and they will look for that. There's just two types of people in that regard. They just get to the point, I just need to know whether you're available, where you are, and how I can book you. And then there's the others who really need to find out a lot more information before they make that decision. Next slide, please. If you were to invest in some time or if you're paying someone, these are the pages that I recommend that you invest in. The homepage, definitely, that sets the whole structure of your I see the homepage as a table of contents to what the rest of the website is. So that's a good snapshot. Without clicking into each and every page, it's a good snapshot of what your website has. So your homepage, your about page, which is, let's face it, the most difficult thing to write. All of us struggle with our about pages. The services page, if you have an overview page, as well as you have individual pages for each service, they should have a minimum of 300. Because bearing in mind, they don't necessarily land on the homepage as the first thing that they see. The landing page could be a blog you've written or one of your service pages because they were searching for that particular service. FAQs, everyone has FAQs. Go through your emails, your messages. There'll be some questions in there. You can start populating that and make sure that, you answer the questions, and as well as having that minimum 300 words. If you have an online shop, product categories and product descriptions, for them, I would recommend 100 to 150 words each, but they don't need 300 words. It's too much for when it's in a shop style. And lastly, blogs will be minimum 300 and more. 300 will be the minimum. Longer form content can work as long as you've broken it up into sections and have some calls to action in between. Next slide, please. We're going to talk about organic marketing, which is essentially free marketing. Maybe just time intensive on your part, but essentially we're not paying for Google ads or Facebook ads to capture the traffic back to your website. What we can do here is I can see a question, how useful are Google ads? So my thing is trying to cover the basis of all the free things before we go into ads. So we need to make sure that your website's actually built to convert the traffic that you're buying, that you're bringing in. And if your website's not going to hold up its end, you're wasting your money because people are just going to go, well, this website's not serving the purpose, and it's not giving me what I need. It's too slow to load, or I can't even look at it on the mobile. Then you have issues, and that's money not well spent. So I would first fix the website, tick all the boxes for organic marketing, and then start looking at Google Ads. That's kind of my way of working. In order to have a successful organic marketing strategy, though, it really, again, comes down to understanding your target audience and where they hang out, so that you can decide where you should focus your efforts. Because I know for sure most of you have been told, oh, you need to be everywhere, you need to be visible, you need to be on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok for some. And I'm here to tell you that's not true. So you can relax a little bit. If you go into the next slide for me, I'll show you the 3 types of organic marketing activities I do recommend as a base before you start considering others. So the first one here is email marketing, and also something that's quite often missed because maybe it's too difficult or it sounds quite convoluted. You want to simplify it as possible. I mentioned earlier before that you want to nurture them, treat them. You want to treat them as your VIPs, essentially, because they're giving you their email address. They already know of you. They're giving you permission to send them marketing emails. As long as you have collected this properly, as long as you've collected it properly, it's almost lunchtime. Then you have every legal right to send them the email. If you have bought those lists, or they've signed your form but they haven't ticked the marketing box, then you cannot do this. So start from today, because even if you have 50 people on the list, it's better than 0. They are the highest form of return of investment, ROI, because they already know of you, you've been nurturing them, and you've asked them maybe to come to an event that you're hosting, or buy a new ebook that you have launched, or you've got availability over the next 2 weeks, and they will most likely consider you more so than anyone on social media. You can also automate as much as possible, even if it's the welcome series where you gave away maybe a free ebook, a recipe book, checklist, or even a free consultation or discovery call can be a lead magnet if it's a longer consultation. And once they book that in, then you can send 2 to 3 emails following up from there, automated. They're not customized. They're generic enough to go out to everyone. That's a good set and forget way of doing things. The next thing I recommend is blogs, because you are able to show your expertise with going to specific topics and really drilling down into them. You're calling them out with their pain points when they're Googling at night, trying to find out why their symptoms are occurring. They will land on the blog, and then they will have links to the services you're mentioning or solutions you're mentioning. And also, there could be a book with you or have a call with you button there as well, making it super easy. It will also usually be evergreen content. So it's not like you post it today and then 2 years later you think, oh, that's not relevant anymore. You can always tweak it, but also most of the time when you post information like this, it is evergreen. Once you post also, it gives you that purpose to send an email to someone, to them out maybe once a month. If you post a blog once a month, you can share that email, share that via an email, send them back to the website to read the full blog. You can share it across social media saying, you write a snippet about the blog, the description or excerpt, and then you say, read the full blog back on the website. The key thing here is that it needs to be optimized for SEO with, again, the keywords and the phrases, having some links internally as well as externally if you're referencing articles, and some calls to action. Otherwise, if you don't have these things, it's not going to be picked up by Google as easily, and you're just writing a diary or a journal that no one can find. Now, social media, which I know a lot of you are rolling your eyes. It is a bit of a necessary evil, but I would like you, instead of trying to spread yourself thin, posting the same thing across 4 or 5 different channels, pick one platform which you know your target audience are hanging out in, and you learn that platform well. You know what kind of content it prioritizes. You know how to put out good content, and you can automate that eventually. But you will see a return on your time or your investment if you just focus on one. But this needs to be the platform your potential clients or patients are actually hanging out in, not a platform you prefer. So you might like Facebook, but they're actually hanging out on Instagram. And so if you've gone all in on Facebook, it's not really going to show you that ROI. It's one thing to also be to be consistent with your posting. You also need to then be engaging. So half of it is putting out your content. The other half is actually going to other accounts and engaging with them, whether it's networking or, whether it's your target audience, just having a chat like you would with a normal person. You do that online. It's not about selling all the time. It's really just building that community. There used to be hashtags that used to be popular. It's kind of been deprioritized at the moment. So making sure your captions and your descriptions are on point. They have some of those keywords and phrases, because that's what's being searched in order to show your post or your reel. And also you can use Canva to create lots of reels that doesn't have your videos in them. They can be text-based as long as it's a video format. Lots of templates you can search for and just replace with your images or your text. And every now and again, you will ask them to come back to your website to do something, whether that's to read the blog or book a call with you. That's very sparingly. The rest of the time, it's going to be about you, about the business, about your ideal clients, working with people, maybe not saying you cure people's problems, but maybe some case studies about, how they felt this way and you've been working together, and that's it. You don't have to promise anything after that, whatever the regulations allow you to do. But it's not about come and book with me, come and buy from me, come and see me, this is me. It's not about you all the time. Sorry about that. Next slide, please. This is my favorite part, is giving you keywords to pull all of these things together, or actually a starting point at least, is to really think about 10 to 15 keywords your customers or potential clients will be typing into Google to bring up your business website. So it's not just dietitian, it's maybe dietitian specializing in thyroid issues. It could be sports physiotherapist near me or in Cardiff, for example. It has to be quite specific, not very general, because you're trying to capture someone that is very high quality, a very high quality lead and very high potential of actually working with you. So come up with 10 to 15 of them. If you need help, use ChatGPT. If you Google keyword planners, you can find some examples as well. You can also use things like Google Trends and Answer the Public to help you with the keywords and phrases, and also blog ideas. Now, once you have that list, go through your actual website and also your current marketing posts. If you haven't been using them, it's time to either edit and change them. Careful not to stuff them with keywords, but one or two here and there, you will see an improvement. Keywords, though, are a very long, slow game. But the other changes that I mentioned about your booking links and your availability and photos and things, when you have traffic on the website, the conversion rate should increase, meaning that they have taken the next step with you. Next slide, please. The last homework I have for you is to come up with a brand persona. So someone has asked some questions about how do you find out what they're using. First, you need to understand the person who is you're trying to attract. So think about 2 to 3 people who are your ideal customer. And this could be one person, this could be 4 or 5. I wouldn't go more than 5 though, because remembering not everyone is your customer. You need to really be working with very specific people. You give them a name and a profile photo and write a bit of a background story so that when you sit down and you do any type of writing, whether it's social media post, whether it's email or a blog, you write specifically to that person. And I'll show you an example in the next slide, please. This is an example of a persona. So this is Steph, who's a 42-year-old high school teacher with chronic pain, neck and lower back pain. She had a car accident and so on. What she's been through, what she's tried, what hasn't worked, and you are the person to help her. So when you sit down and you write, you're going to speak to Steph. You're going to call out Steph's issues and you're going to say, here's what I recommend, or here is, 3 potential therapies that you could be considering, or maybe it's one specific one. And then you don't even have to sell something. You could just leave it as that. But, they start building that connection with you because you are speaking their language. You are relating to them. Hopefully you get the slides and you can refer to that, and ChatGPT, amazing for this. You tell them the dot points of who this person is and they will flash it up for you. Or you could even say, I'm a dietitian specializing in, clinical dietitian specializing in eating disorders. What's my ideal brand persona? And they will write it out for you. And then you tweak it, obviously. Don't take the first response as gospel. Next slide, please. Oh, we got to the end, only 1 minute over. All right, so that's me done. So again, my name is Desiree Bhullar from Naked Digital. I do have a free tutorial for you about Google Analytics if you already have something set up, just to point your eyes towards some of the information you can get to make better decisions. And as part of today, I am offering a free website strategy session to help you get your thoughts together and find a way forward if you need a website redesign or rebrand and photos taken as well. Happy to help you. I'm not sure if I should stick around for Q&A if we have time, or just let me know.
Thanks, Desiree. Yeah, look, we do have a couple of questions if you've got a little bit of time to answer those. First one is, Anne has asked, what is the minimum speed for a website?
Great answer. There's no specific number. It is probably as low as possible, which means it's like 1 second, 1.5, under 2 seconds would be ideal. I think it's more so closer to 1 second is what you're aiming for. But if you use a site speed test like Google's, it will tell you whether you're in the red or in the green, because it's really up to them to actually pass or fail you in that regard.
Excellent. All right. And the other one was, how do I know which social media my targets are using?
So coming back to the brand persona, if it is this is a very good question. So in a way, you should already know, you're hanging out in Instagram or you're hanging out in LinkedIn. Are you trying to attract people in the industry? Is that your marketing tactic at the moment or marketing goal at the moment, to be more present in the industry, get more referrals? Then possibly maybe LinkedIn or other directories where people can send you referrals. That's where you should be investing your time. If you're trying to attract people with ailments and stuff like that, they could be potentially in Facebook groups where they're getting recommendations for services or they're getting advice. For me, I have Hashimoto's, so I'm in a lot of Hashimoto groups, and whether that's within Australia or worldwide. And there's a lot of people recommending or asking for recommendations for practitioners or therapists as well. So if you think that, it depends on what that goal is. If you want more patients or more clients, then hang around in Facebook groups that might be relevant. Just have a look at the group's policies on self-advertising. But sometimes they're just asking for some advice or some clarity, and you could always just answer and say, I can help you if you wanted to drop your link on there and get in touch as well.